Maha-Satipatthana Sutta, Nupassana, Contemplation of Consciousness. Consciousness is a part of the mind. In the teaching of the Buddha, there are two components parts of the mind, Citta and Cetasika. Consciousness is that which is aware of an object. It is the bare awareness of an object. Cetasika mental factors are what colors consciousness. They arise together with the consciousness and modify the consciousness. Lobha or raga, greed is a mental factors. Hatred or anger, dosa are mental factors. Moha, delusion is a mental factors. Saddha, faith is a mental factors. Wisdom, pinya is a mental factors. When these mental factors arise, they arise together with certain kinds of consciousness. Though consciousness is emphasized in this section, consciousness and mental factors cannot be separated. When you observe consciousness, you also observe the mental factors. When you have anger in your mind, you note sincerely angry, angry, angry. You practice the contemplation of this consciousness, citta. Angry means your mind is angry, or you have a consciousness that is accompanied by anger. So when you note angry, 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 you are practicing these kinds of meditation. Contemplation of consciousness, citta nupassana. And many types of consciousness. Other types of consciousness should be noted also. Different kinds of consciousness are mentioned. Different kinds of consciousness have to be noted. Sometimes consciousness with lust, saraga citta, and consciousness without lust or attachment, vidaraga citta. Consciousness with hate, sadosa citta, you note it. Consciousness without hate, vidadosa citta, you note it. Samoha citta, consciousness with delusion, you note it. Vidamoha citta, consciousness without delusion. Vidamoha citta. And sometimes constricted consciousness, sankheta citta. It is a type of consciousness you have when you are oppressed by sloth and torpor. When you are sleepy, then your consciousness is constricted. It is sankheta citta. Sometimes your mind is scattered. scatter mind, scatter consciousness, Vikita Jita. It is a type of consciousness you have when you are restless. And when you practice samatha meditation, your mind has become great. There is jhana consciousness, Meghata Jita. And your mind that has not become great, that is the other types of consciousness pertaining to the sense sphere, Kama Jita. And suppressible consciousness, the consciousness is the types of consciousness pertaining to sense sphere and the form sphere. And unsuppressible consciousness means types of consciousness pertaining to the formless sphere. You practice meditation and your mind concentrated. Concentrated consciousness is one with excess concentration, upachara samadhi, and absorption concentration, apana samadhi, apana. Your mind is concentrated. Unconcentrated consciousness means consciousness that is scattered and unfocused. That is asamahita citta. You practice meditation, you contemplate every arising phenomena, and your mind is free from mental defilements. Your mind is citta is vimukta citta, free consciousness. Because continuously vipassana consciousness occurring, your mind is free from mental defilements, your mind is pure, clear, and purified. Vimukta citta, free consciousness. Your mind is free from mental defilements momentarily or temporarily. So it is vipassana consciousness or jhana consciousness. And meditation is not good and your mind is unfreed consciousness. That is, your consciousness is not free from mental defilements. You have anger, depression, attachment, and delusion, etc. That is unfreed consciousness. So you need to know Abhidhamma to understand all these different kinds of consciousness. However, it is not necessary to be able to differentiate the various kinds of consciousness by their respective names. It is sufficient that you are aware when you are sleepy and you note sleepy, sleepy, sleepy. It is sufficient. When you are distracted, you note distracted, distracted, distracted. It is sufficient that you are aware when you are distracted. So these types of consciousness have to be noted whenever they arise in your mind. During practicing Chaitanupasana, during the contemplations of consciousness, one consciousness, one Chaita is the object of another. They cannot arise at the same moment. The consciousness that is the object of meditation arose just a little bit earlier, and the noting consciousness arises just a little bit later. When there is thinking, imagining, remembering, so that consciousness is the object of meditation, that thinking might arose just a little bit earlier. And you really mindful, you capture that thinking mind, and noting mind arise. Noting consciousness arises just a little bit later. But you can call them present because there is a very small difference in time when you contemplate on consciousness. When different kinds of consciousness arise and fade away, you take note of the specific types when they arise. When you observe consciousness in this way, you will come to see that Ati Chaitanti Vapanasa, there is consciousness only. There is no person. There is no being that is its agent. And you will also recognize that since consciousness arises and fades away every moment, it is impermanent. When you see its impermanence, you won't cling to that consciousness through craving or wrong view. When there is no clinging, there can be no formations of karma, and you will be able to achieve freedom from suffering. This is very good result by practicing Chaitanupasana, contemplation of consciousness. But there may be those who want to know how they are to be understood according to Abhidhamma. For such people, we have to explain a little. Saraga Chaita, consciousness with lust, means the 8 kinds of consciousness associated with attachment or greed. A Vitaraga Citta, consciousness without lust, means mundane, profitable, and indeterminate consciousness. However, this is the comprehension of states and not a collection of states. Therefore, the supramundane consciousness is not applicable here, even in respect of one of the 2 terms. The remaining 4 kinds of unwholesome consciousness do not come under the previous subsequent terms. And then consciousness with hate, sadosa citta. Consciousness with hate means two kinds of consciousness associated with unpleasant feeling, and consciousness without hate, vita dosa citta, means mundane, wholesome, and indeterminate consciousness. The remaining 10 kinds of unwholesome consciousness do not come under either of the terms. And samoha citta, consciousness with delusion, means the two kinds of consciousness accompanied by skeptical doubt and consciousness accompanied by agitation. But since delusion arises in all unwholesome consciousness, the remaining unwholesome consciousness are also applicable here. So in this diet, all the 12 kinds of unwholesome consciousness are included. Avita moha citta, consciousness without delusion, means mundane, wholesome, and indeterminate consciousness. Saketa citta, constricted consciousness, means those accompanied by sloth and torpor. Saketa consciousness, Vikita citta, means that accompanied by restlessness. Megadajita consciousness that have become great means material sphere and immaterial sphere consciousness, Rupa Citta, Rupa Vachara Citta, and Arupavasara Citta, and consciousness that have not become great. Amagata Citta means sense sphere consciousness, Kama Citta. And subperceivable consciousness, Sa Uttara Citta, means sense sphere consciousness, and unsubperceivable means material and immaterial sphere consciousness. Here, subperceivable may also be taken as material sphere and unsubperceivable as immaterial sphere only. Samahita citta means concentrated consciousness. It is accompanied by absorption concentration and excess concentration, and unconcentrated consciousness. Asamahita citta means it is without either kinds of concentration. And freed consciousness, Vimukta citta, means the consciousness which is liberated by either momentary or temporary abandonment. And avimukta citta, unfreed consciousness, means consciousness which is without either kinds of abandonment. Again, say it is vipassana. No supramundane consciousness is applicable because it is vipassana. So in short, whatever mind or whatever consciousness or mental state arises, it must be mindfully noted, it must be mindfully observed as it really occurs. This is Chittanupassana Satipatthana. Whatever the mental state may be, it must be noted as it really is. So when you have consciousness with attachment, you must be mindful of it as it really is. So if you have consciousness with anger, depressed, you must note it as consciousness with anger, depression, etc. Consciousness with anger can be noted as angry or anger in accordance with the Maha-Satipatthana Sutta. When your mindfulness is powerful, anger will disappear, depression will disappear. When your mindfulness is powerful, then you will realize that anger is not everlasting, sadness is not everlasting, it arises and passes away. By observing anger, depression, discouragement, sadness, you have two kinds of benefits. Number one, you can overcome anger, depression, sadness. Number two, you can realize the true nature of anger, true nature of depression, sadness, the arising and passing away of anger, etc., or the impermanent nature, anicca, dukkha, anatta, you will understand. So anger or depression is one of the mental states that can lead you to the cessation of suffering if you note it with mindfulness, strong mindfulness. So what you have to do, you should observe every arising obvious consciousness as they really are. To observe in this way, what you need to do, you have to put ardent energy constantly to practice is diligently, is very tired, but you need to put energy again and again to observe the true nature of the kinds of mental state, the kinds of consciousness. You never give up by continuously noting. You must comprehend clearly the true nature of consciousness. Consciousness are breakable and very fragile. You need to capture, you need to hit, you need to capture very thoroughly. The mental defilements, kilesa, can be extinguished when you know the true nature of the consciousness. So what is Chaitanya contemplations of consciousness? Chaitanya is to know in this way of mental defilements extinguished in every chitta. So can you follow me? Yogi should observe every arising obvious consciousness as they really are. To observe in this way, yogi should put ardent energy constantly. By continuously noting, yogi must comprehend clearly. Mental defilements can be extinguished when you know the true nature of consciousness. It is Chaitanupasana, contemplations of consciousness, to know in this way mental defilements are extinguished in every consciousness. So it is Chaitanupasana. You need to know every arising obvious consciousness as they really are, and then mental defilements will be extinguished in every arising consciousness. So it is important to cultivate Vimutta Citta, free consciousness. Our minds, our consciousness are not very free. Our consciousness is accompanied with anger, attachment, delusion, etc. So by practicing Chaitanupasana, you can cultivate cultivate the free consciousness, Vimutta Citta. Ye Chaitan Sanyame Santi Maukhanti Marabandhana. Yogi should, if yogi could restrain the consciousness, he or she would be freed from the bondage of Mara, bondage of death. So how to restrain the consciousness? So to restrain the consciousness, so according to Bhattikarata Sutta, you have paper, page number 13. Bhattikarata Sutta. So how to restrain your consciousness? Sometimes our consciousness mind go to the past, and sometimes our consciousness mind go to the future, longing for the future, and sometimes mind is at the present. So, so restrain your mind not to go to the past. Restrain your mind not to long for the future. Restrain your mind to know the present. And if you know the present, mind and body, especially the continuously noting the consciousness, you can see the arising and disappearing of the consciousness. And you will see the true nature of consciousness. So this is according to Bhattikarata Sutta. You need to restrain your mind. To the past, you should not return. For the future, you should not yearn. Note the present body and mind, its arising and its decline. so that the truth you will come to find. So can you follow me? Number one, to the past you should not return. To the past you should not return. For the future you should not yearn. For the future you should not yearn. Know the present body and mind. Know the present body and mind. Its arising and its decline. Its arising and its decline. So that the truth you will come to find. So that the truth you will come to find. Can you recite 3 times? To the past you should not return. For the future you should not yearn. Note the present body and mind, its arising and its decline, so that the truth you will come to find. To the past you should not return. Mind is arising and its decline, so that the truth you will come to find. To the past, the past is already gone. The past we should not return. But when the mind go to the past, we have to note thinking, thinking, or knowing, knowing, knowing. It can be captured. Or not only one time, it's coming again and again. Note it again and again until it disappears. Finally, you can capture the mind very thoroughly. Future not yet come, but is if your mind go to the future, thinking for the future, longing for the future, note again and again, thinking, thinking, planning, planning. Note only one time, sometimes successful, sometimes not successful. Note again and again. Finally, you can capture thoroughly. And note the present. Don't cling the present because present also body and mind are arising and disappearing. So note the present thoroughly so that you can see the consciousness clearly, you comprehend clearly that state of consciousness. And why Buddha urged to practice? We should we should not continue to devote all of our time and energy to the pursuit of never-ending worldly project, never-ending worldly project. So it is better to practice so that you will find yourself reliable spiritual achievement to support you to be guaranteed. And Buddha reminded us constantly that we have to practice effectively beforehand as long as there is time. So Buddha reminded Ichiwa Kicha Matapang cause Jin Sinya Marana Suwe. Nai no Singaran Dena Masinina Michuna. Regret is useless if we do not practice, although we have the opportunity, we will feel regret when we are sick, old, and weak, lying on our deathbed, lying on our bed in intensive care unit, or being reborn in the lower realms. Before it is too late, we need to keep in mind the Buddha's admonition. Jayata bhikkhve ma pamadatta ma picca vipiti sarino ahuvata yanvo amaga anusasani. Buddha reminded, meditate, practice meditation, bhikkhus. Do not delay, or else you will regret it later. This is our instruction to you. So Buddha admonished in this way. Why Buddha admonished in this way? Because we don't know we will be alive, or we will meet with death tomorrow. Tomorrow is not sure. So meditators should practice meditation which will burn up all mental defilements. One noting, one mental defilement is gone. Another noting, another mental defilement is gone. It is very inspiring. One noting is very powerful. So do not postpone next day. No date can be fixed with Mara, death. No date can be fixed with Mara, kings of death. Mara possess huge armed forces equipped with lethal weapons of water, fire, poison, and various kinds of diseases and so on. Who can know for certain whether we will be living or we will be dead tomorrow? So Mara cannot be bribed. So it is very urgent to practice meditation now. So that is Buddha reminder. An appointment and agreement we cannot set, because with the army, the kings of death, Mara, and no bribes or gift will he accept. The Buddha reminded, meditate now, don't change the time, so that the truth you will come to find. So can you follow me? An appointment you cannot set, with the army and kings of death. No bribes or gifts will he accept. Meditate now, don't change the time, so that the truth you will come to find. Can you recite 3 times? An appointment you cannot set, with the army and kings of death. No price or gift will he accept. Meditate now, don't change the time, so that the truth you will come to find. With the army and kings of death, meditate now, don't change the time, so that the truth you will come to find. environment you cannot set with the army and kings of death, no brides or gifts. Meditate now during the time so that the truth you will come to find. So no bride with Mara. Mara cannot will not accept any bribes, and no agreeable agreement with the Mara. So put energy to burn the mental defilements arising in us, and do not postpone this moment. Just meditate now. So this is for Chaitanya contemplations of consciousness, and we continue contemplations of the Dhamma next time. We have to stop our discourse for today. By practicing Chaitanya contemplation of consciousness, by noting rising, falling, sitting, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, continuously and meticulously, may all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future.